Yes, sir. No, sir.
Morning, sir. How do I pronounce your last name? Is it Imar?
Yeah.
Okay, sir, you're charged with terroristic threat of a family or household member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. I see that you're also charged with criminal mischief. On that one, you're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine.
On October 22nd, 2024, officers were dispatched to an apartment complex in Harris County, Texas, in reference to a terroristic threat. Officers made contact with the complainant, who stated her husband, the defendant, threatened to kill her and damaged her work personal laptops. The complainant stated that she and the defendant were separated, but wanted to give it another shot. The complainant and the defendant got into a verbal argument over where the defendant should put his belongings, and the complainant went into the bedroom to separate herself. The defendant stated he was going to kill her and do whatever it took to go back to Nepal. The complainant ran out of the bathroom to her motor vehicle and left the location. The complainant stated the defendant later sent her a picture with a hammer damaging the screens of her laptops. The total was $450.
Mr. Meyer, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to have any contact with this person whatsoever. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to do everything in my power to protect every person of Harris County. If that means putting you in custody and make your bond sky high, I'm going to do it. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
You had contact with this person, Morgan, anyone?
Yes, Judge. I spoke with her yesterday. She is also requesting no contact in this case. I believe they're living separately at the moment.
Okay.
There is a signed NOAA in place as well, and I believe that address is correct.
There's a protective order that has been issued in this case. I suggest you get to know it, because if you do something to violate the protective order, the state can and will file additional charges against you. You violate those conditions, I can hold you at no bond, zero bond, and I will do it in a heartbeat. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any kind of evidence of alcohol or drug usage at all? And then in the prior assault, same complaining witness?
Same complainant in the prior assault, yes, Judge.
No, Your Honor, there's no allegations of alcohol use.
So can you create conditions, no contact and no weapons?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm also ordering you not to be in possession of weapons. When I mean no contact, I mean no contact of any kind. Phone calls, text messages, emails, Snapchat, social media, use of third parties to try to get a hold of this person. No means no. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm gonna have you take I'm gonna have you sign a reset with Victoria. After that, I'm gonna have you take a seat in the jury box while we get your bond conditions. We'll have you sign it, and then we'll have you wait for your lawyer.
Judge, I have previous magistrate conditions in place that include refrain from no contact, as well as a GPS monitoring device with an exclusion zone of that address, as well as no firearms. Would you like to keep those in place?
What do you think about GPS?
I also have surrender passport and remain within Harris County since he is a.
I'm down with the surrendering the passport. I don't know about the GPS monitor. I guess if you don't mind, reach out to the complaining witness. If we get any kind of evidence that he's acting a fool, let me know, and then we'll take more measures, you know? So definitely surrender passport, no GPS at this time unless we see that he starts acting up.
Judge, is that pre-trial bond condition?
Yeah, so guys, don't worry. I'm gonna have.
Okay, yes, Judge.
Mr. Prado, you're charged with assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On October 23rd, 2024, officers responded to a resident in Harris County, Texas, in reference to a family assault. The officer made contact with the complainant, who stated she was assaulted by the defendant, her husband. The complainant stated the defendant was drinking all night, was sleeping, and the complainant woke him up. The complainant stated she told the defendant he needed to wake up to watch over their youngest child so she can get their other children ready for school. The complainant stated the defendant walked to the bedroom, and the complainant heard a child crying for a while and went to check on the child, where she found the defendant sleeping. The complainant attempted to wake the defendant by grabbing his shoulder and moving him side to side, which caused the defendant to wake up, who became angry, stood up, and began shouting in the complainant's face. The defendant proceeded to grab the complainant's left arm and applied pressure, causing pain. The defendant then pushed the complainant away from him, causing her to hit her back on the dresser, causing pain. The defendant stated the complainant woke him up to take care of the youngest child. The complainant became upset because the child was crying, and the defendant admitted to getting close to the complainant's face, but denied assaulting the complainant.
All right, Mr. Prado, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or kind of illegal dope, I'm going to put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Your Honor.
What do we know about whether she wants to have contact with him or not?
It looks like the complaining witness is requesting that there's temporary no contact. I think that she's wants him to undergo some kind of treatment before contact. So I think that would be
She doesn't want
appropriate.
contact with us.
Correct.
Okay. So understand that a protective order has been issued in this case, and at this point, we're ordering you not to have any contact with this person and not to be in possession of weapons. Time heals all wounds, so perhaps at a later time, we can amend this, but at this point, just don't have any contact with him.
She is asking if I can help with the children here and there.
So do you have a lawyer?
I am working on that.
Okay, let's do this. Before we get into, I don't want you to say anything now because, I've got a bunch of DAs here and everything that you say they can use it against you. Get a lawyer. We can try to amend conditions to that, because I understand that this is going to impact the kids and I don't want it to because kids should always have their father as well, right? But I don't want to do it with everyone here without you having a lawyer present. So get a lawyer, come back as soon as you can, and then we can talk about trying to amend it to fix it the best way for everybody possible. Okay. So what I'm gonna have you do now is I'm gonna have you sign a receipt with Victoria. We'll have you just take a seat while we get the bond condition. We'll have you sign it, and after that, you'll be free to go. Okay? For sure. Please. Mr. Croce, you're charged with harboring a runaway child. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement that they're offering you 1 year in Harris County Jail to be probated for 2 years. It's a straight probation, right? What that means is it will end up as a conviction on your record. You can never take it off. You can never change this. Do you understand? From now on, you'll be facing a minimum of 90 days in jail. As part of the agreement, you will do a TRAS, which is an evaluation to see what other conditions you may need. If they assess other conditions, you must fulfill those conditions. Thinking for a change, no drugs, no alcohol, random urinalysis. On the mental health caseload, you must do 10 hours of community service, $100 donation one time to Houston Area Women's Center, no harassing, threatening, or abusive contact with AW, and 30 days in Harris County Jail is the condition.
Yes, sir.
Is this how you understand it?
Yes, sir.
You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty, that's it. Like I said, you're going on this probation. So the deal with this probation is that if you break this probation, if you don't fulfill it, if you pick up a new case, if you don't do your classes on time, I'm going to issue a warrant for your arrest. I'm going to put you in jail. The only thing we're going to talk about is if you violated it. If you did, you're looking at an entire year in jail. Do
Yes,
you
sir.
understand?
Yes, sir.
How do you plead to the offense? Are guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
I will find you guilty, sentence you to the agreement. Did I miss anything, Shatori? What do you do for a living, Mr. Crozier?
Right now I'm working construction. I've actually done a few jobs already. I've done sheetrock so far, pipe. Yesterday I just got done with a fencing job. I have another fencing job coming up and a roofing job. So but I
Are you
work
going
construction.
from like job to job? Do you have a steady like foreman or person that you work
Yes.
for?
Works for a construction company.
Okay, great. Okay, so what about the 30 days?
So that's what it came to. For the 30 days, we were asking, could he do, I hope since he's on 2 years, can he do October 25th, 2025?
Oh, no,
Because-
not that far out.
Well,
That's
okay.
like over a year. I mean, typically when we do as a condition, it's toward the front end, within the first like
So my
3-4 months.
thinking is, he is experiencing issues. I wanted to see if he could get that under control before he turned himself in, because originally the plan was that he was just gonna turn himself in last Monday and stay in until we resolved it. But around the third day, he started having panic attacks and mom bonded him out because they were about to put him in a mental health home. I just wanted to give him some time to seek some kind of mental.
Problem
health
is that you're gonna have to do it at one point or the other. The longer you do it out, the worse it's gonna be. You just get it, do it, and you're done with it, you know?
treatment. Say 6 months.
The other problem compounding this issue is the case is 700 days old. I mean, he absconded for how long, you know?
About 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, you want me to reward you with a really long for taking off for all that time? So I'll give you up to 4 months, but you need to nail down a date that you want to go in. And I'm going to tell you now, if you don't go in, you're looking at the full range of punishment, up to a year in jail. Do you understand? You pick up a new case, it's not going to go well. You violate conditions, you smoke weed, it's not going to go well for you. Don't. You know, what you do out there every day, you better think, if I do this, is there potential of going to jail? If it is, don't do it. If you're going to a party and there's a bunch of weed there, you better leave. You're on paper, man. For you to go to a party, that's not the right thing to do, because temptation is a bitch. And if it's there, you're going to want to partake, because if you're a person that likes to party, probation is not good for you. So you better think before you act, before you do, because you could be doing a lot more time in jail. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'll give you up to 4 months. Pick a date that he needs to go in, but we need to know the date now before we leave here today. You can reduce the fees. So I'll give you a reduction of fees to the minimum. I can't pay for outside classes, but I'll reduce it to the minimum. We'll give you credit for the time that you've done. So that'll also help with your fines and fees as well. Don't pick up a new case. Don't smoke weed.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys, good luck.
Okay.
You were called to take an alcohol and drug test and you failed to go.
Tomaron un examen de droga y alcohol y le fallaste.
I'm going to tell you now that if you ever miss again, I will put you in jail. I'm going to revoke your bond and put you in custody. I don't care what your excuse is, but if you ever fail me again, you know what's going to happen. Forewarned is fair warned. I am now sending you for a drug and alcohol test, and I hope that you don't test positive for anything. But if you ever miss again, in straight to jail you will go. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay.
¿Entiendes? Sí. Yes.
Are you in this country with or without permission?
With,
I don't know if you do, but if you don't, and you go to jail and immigration puts a detainer on you, it's going to really turn your life upside down. So I would be very, very careful. You better show up next time. Okay, Mr. O'Parr. So we'll send him now. Hopefully he's clean. If so, we'll just do a normal reset. If it's dirty, then we'll call you and let you know. We'll have to deal with it. Okay. You can go. Get a date with Victoria, just in case, and then he'll have to come back, and then we'll reach out to you and let you know. Mr. Brown?
Here, but wait, Judge.
good morning.
So it looks like you're wanted out of the state of Kentucky for engaging in organized crime.
Organized crime.
Done homework. I have baked a special donut.
Criminal mischief. I guess it's at a first-degree warrant. Is it? I don't even understand what these charges are.
It should be engaging in organized crime, theft by unlawful taking or disposition, all others,
That's what it is.
1,000 to 10,000. 2 counts of that, and then criminal mischief, first degree. I can also fix it if it doesn't make sense.
No, that's okay. Are you waiving full electrician, sir?
Sure.
Okay, you have to understand that if they end up shipping you off to Kentucky, you've got to stay in contact with your lawyer in the felony case, because if you don't, a warrant here will issue, and the hold that you have here from Kentucky, it's going to happen when you end up in jail over there. Harris County will put the hold here, and you're going to be in the exact reverse situation in Kentucky. So you got to stay in contact with a lawyer. Okay? All right, man. Good luck. What's the last name again?
Johnson?
Good morning, Ms. Johnson. You wanted me to accept the time served. didn't work the first time. So why is it going to work a second time? You know, you got to understand that we don't reward behavior when it continues to happen, especially when you're putting others' lives at danger. I mean, do you watch the news? Do you watch the news?
I do.
Okay. Every single day, someone dies from an alcohol-related collision in Harris County. Every single day. You're now on your second DWI. And I can't tell you how many times I've done a time served on a second and they wrap their car around the pole the next day. It's not an acceptable thing, you know? And so that's why, you know, that's why we do what we do. Everything is for the benefit of the public and to make sure it doesn't happen again. And you need to understand that from now on, you and I will not be dealing with each other. This is now your second DWI. You ever get pulled over now and you have even the remote faintest smell of alcohol, you'll now be in felony court, 2 to 10 at the penitentiary. And it doesn't matter. You don't have to be fall down piss ass drunk to get a felony charge. They're just going to look at your record and it speaks for itself. They're going to assume that you have a tolerance and they're just going to lock you up. You understand?
I understand.
You give up a lot of rights. And I see that how unhappy you are with me. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm really okay.
No idea. You have no idea.
I'm okay with this. This is okay.
No, I actually like you. I watch you on TikTok.
Oh, well,
So I'm a fan.
understand everything that we do. We just don't want you to come back, you know?
I understand.
And like the example I give, you know, where's my phone? You know, $20, one click will get you anywhere you want to go in the city. Don't matter where you want to go.
I do.
You know, good. And I hope it continues, you know, that's all we're asking. You're giving up a lot of rights by entering this agreement. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. So once you accept this agreement, you can never change this or undo this. And like I said, it'll go on your record. It'll be there for the rest of your life. And I'm telling you, even if you're 92, you get into a car and you've had half a glass of wine, you get pulled over, they're going to charge you, you know.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't, even if you've had a sip, I wouldn't get in the car because it's a humongous risk. It's 30 days in jail, credit for the 1 day that you've done.
I believe I did 2 days. I did about 36 hours.
We'll check. Because if you do have 2 days, I'm going to give you 2 days and we're going to shortchange anyone because we can look at the time that you went in, time you got out, everything, you know, we have records for everything. Let me see. It says here that you had a prior DWI from 2014 in county court at law number 9. Is that true that you had that prior DWI? Okay, true to the first enhancement. I'm going to abandon the second enhancement because it'll make it 90. How do you plead to the offense? Guilty or not guilty?
Reluctantly guilty.
Well, if you're not guilty, we can go to trial. You know, if you're really, I don't want you to plead guilty if you're not guilty. You know, we don't play that game here. If you're not guilty, don't plead. We can have a trial, you know. This is a lifetime decision. Once you do this, there's no coming back from it. You know, you are the only one who knows if you're guilty of this offense or not. I wasn't there. I just have videos and, you know, and blood test results, I guess, or whatever's out there, because I don't even know.
Do you have video of when they took my blood test results?
Sorry?
I would really like someone to look at those.
We have these, Johnson.
Have you seen them?
Yeah, so are you pleading guilty or not?
I mean, if you want, we can put this off for a week. You can go to the office and you can look at everything, and then that way you can make an informed decision. It's up to you. But better to make an informed decision than to have regret, because there's no turning back once you do this, you know, no regrets, right? Once you plead, that's it. If you want a week, I'm happy to give you a week. You can go to Slider's office in Cavita and take a look at all the videos. Look at, was there a blood test?
She's been to the office a few times, so we have looked at,
You have looked at the videos,
yeah, we looked at the
I
stuff.
haven't seen where they took my blood
but there may not be. I don't know. I don't know what there's out
because
there.
there was a major human rights violation when they took my blood. And
Remember,
I'm having a real problem with that. I was not drinking that night.
Don't say.
remember, it doesn't have to be just alcohol. There are other intoxicants. If you take too much NyQuil, you know, what happens when you take too much NyQuil? You get woozy, right? It doesn't have to be alcohol. You take too much NyQuil, it's anything that impairs the normal use of your mental and or physical faculties. It doesn't have to be alcohol. It could be NyQuil. It could be isopropyl alcohol. It could be any number of things. It could be a combination of things thereof. If you take an Ambien and you have half a glass of wine, if you take an Ambien or if you take NyQuil PM, right? And then you have a glass of alcohol or wine, right? Or even if you take too much NyQuil PM, all these things can impair your ability. And that's what the law is.
Right.
It doesn't have to be alcohol. 'Cause I don't know, you know, what's out there, but if you want more time, I can give you more time. Just, it's a lifetime decision. Look, remember, Ms. Johnson, we live stream here. So it's better for you guys. If you don't want to do it, just don't. You know, you guys can go talk in a room back there. I mean, if you want to wait a little bit, we can wait. You don't have to do it now. We can do it in 10, 15 minutes, or I can give you a week and you can take a look at everything again. Because this isn't Target. You can just return it if you don't like it. This is, like I said, a lifetime decision. There's no buyer's remorse. Let's do that.
Judge, we'll
I'll put it
step
to the
down.
side. You go out there, talk about it, and then come back and let me know what you want to do. Okay? Okay. So you want to go through with this then?
Yes.
You're sure? Okay. All right. So as we said before, I'm just going to go through the everything again. You have the right to have a jury decide, right? You have the right to confront and cross-examine your witnesses. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty, it will reflect as a conviction on your record. You can never take it off or try to challenge this. You understand? Versus how do you plead to the offense? Guilty or not guilty? I will find you guilty, Ms. Johnson. I will send you to 30 days in jail. Did you look to see if she has two?
It only shows one.
We show 1 day credit. If you guys want to try to pull the time cards, somehow we can try to see if she has two. I don't know. She's saying she has two. I don't know. We'll take a look to see if we can find out the time you got in and the time you got out. I am going to suspend your license for 1 year, ma'am. Do not drive until you get a license.
Spending it for 1 year.
I have to. On every DWI,
That
second,
wasn't brought up to me. I was told that it was be a first DWI.
on every DWI second, I always suspend it for a year. I could up to two, but I only do it for 1
So
year.
that means I can't drive for a year.
We can get an occupational
You can
license. for you.
apply for an occupational license. As part of the occupational license, though, you'll have to get a guardian interlock. You will also have to do some.
I'll have to do another interlock. Oh, shoot. This isn't what I signed up for.
You want to- Judge, can we step down for another
Please.
moment?
No
Thank
problem.
you.
I didn't think that was part of it.
Yes,
Did I have to have the thing all over?
I thought it happened.
No.
I'm gonna skip the other for you.
Oh, gosh. We have to talk about something else. No, not on that, but what about the supervision? The DPS fines and fees. What do you do for a living, man?
I don't do anything. I took care of my husband for 5 years before he died.
Support yourself now.
Um, no, I'm just barely getting by.
My concern is because there, when you get a DWI, there's so many collateral consequences. It's just disgusting. You get license suspension, you get jail time. One of the other consequences is DPS hits you with a fine and fee and a surcharge of, was this a 0.15 or above? What was it?
Yes, Your Honor. It was
Yeah,
12.15.
you have a $6,000 surcharge that you're going to be required to pay to DPS.
I mean, I don't know how you're gonna get it. I don't have any money.
She won't be able to pay that.
I don't have any money.
So what happens is they end up suspending your license until you get it.
I mean, I'll never drive. I can't afford the insurance any longer, so I won't be driving.
Please don't drive without insurance. I want you.
No, I won't be
and
driving at all.
let
I'll
me-
end up selling my car.
Let me impart something to you, okay? I have, because of this whole YouTube thing, I get emails and I get just letters and I get phone calls and I get bombarded with. I got something really stomach turning the other day where a guy emailed me, goes, I was driving and I was in an accident and now they're coming after me for $50,000. I have a young kid, I've got a wife, and I got an apartment. Can you help me out with this? And I didn't reply, right? Because I can't give out legal advice, right? But, the email went on and on and on about how the accident has just been a life-turning event where they've had investigators come to their house. They've had just lawyers and insurance companies come after them, try to take. And it's because they were driving, they got into an accident, they maimed the other people, and they didn't have insurance. And when that happens, you have other people that are going to come after you. And if you don't have insurance, they got to get the money from somewhere. So they will get a judgment against you.
I understand.
So
I understand.
I hope you do. I will waive your fines and fees and surcharges, Ms. Johnson. Okay. But I want you to understand that, if you're ever going to get lit, just don't get into a car. No matter what you're doing, no matter where you're going, no matter what kind of catastrophic event happens in your life, because the law doesn't care what happened in your life. They don't care about your catastrophic event. They don't care that someone died, that your baby mama cheated on you. None of that matters. All they see, how many times, and from now on, it's 2 to 10 in the penitentiary. If you thought this was bad, wait till you get to felony court. And it can all be with just one click. I'll waive the fees. I will also give you credit for the ALR suspension. I mean, I don't know what else we can do to help you out, Ms. Johnson. Just really, just don't get into a car.
I won't.
All right, so it's 30 days in jail, credit for the 1 day for now, unless you can find it elsewhere. What is the turn date?
It would be November 10th.
November 10th. Okay, I want you to understand, Ms. Johnson, that you're still under bond condition in this court. You're not allowed to, I'm suspending your license now for a year. You're not allowed to drive. You're not allowed to drink until you've actually turned yourself in and actually completed the sentence. You're still under bond condition in this court. You cannot drink. You cannot do anything that you're still on bond, and all those bond conditions continue until you serve your sentence. Do you have any questions? All right. So how do you finally plead to the offense? Guilty or not guilty?
I plead guilty.
I will find you guilty. I will send you to the 30 days in jail, give you credit for the one. Like I said, I'll suspend your license for a year. I will give you the ALR credit. We will run the court cost concurrent. Good luck to you. Good luck. Now waiving almost $7,000 worth of fines and fees that you would otherwise normally owe. So I hope you really take advantage and don't get into a car, man. All right. 6,000 and then whatever.